Hey everyone, I wanted to do this video as misconceptions of capitalism and socialism because I hear a lot of things. I do a lot of communication on Facebook. That's one of the biggest things that I do. Obviously, debates and stuff like that. I am not afraid of speaking to people about any of these topics. Especially the ones that I go over in these videos. The reason for this video is because a lot of people that I speak with and sometimes debate, stuff like that, they have no idea what capitalism is. They make statements that aren't accurate for what capitalism is. So I want to give some brief examples of this. I don't want to make this this video too long because I'm going to be doing many other videos on this and going more in depth to this stuff. So some of the most common misconceptions of capitalism, it comes down to the understanding of what capitalism is and how it functions in our society. Okay, so capitalism is an economic and/or political system. Okay, there's been many writings going about the essence of capitalism, and there are a lot of things that are going on in today's society that are failing and that are not part of capitalism. So when it really comes down to it, people blame a lot of things that aren't capitalism on capitalism, and they say that's why we need to change the system. That's why socialism is going to be so much better, is because we're not going to have these flaws. And pretty much what they're doing is they're taking the things that aren't capitalism, and then they're going to blow those out of proportion and make those really big deals. Here's one of the easiest ones. So they keep saying, oh, these big corporations, it's capitalism, our money supply, all of these things that are failing, the debt and all of these things, this is because of capitalism. And we wouldn't have this in a socialist society. Well, for one thing, a centralized bank, you guys have heard me talking about the central bank a lot, is because it is an issue. A central bank is not inherent in capitalism. It's not. Actually, our founding fathers, who were all businessmen, they fought, and there was actually a few of our founding fathers who almost killed a few guys, who had almost like sword fights with people who wanted a central bank. Please go and research that stuff. I believe it was Hamilton that did that. I don't know. We'll see. So when it comes down to it, a lot of the things that that come out of this is that capitalism is not what is going on today. Today, what we see in today's society is called crony capitalism. It is where the government is so large that companies can come in and they can take power over each other. One of the big things, I'll just use this as an example, with the minimum wage. People say, Walmart's, they're not paying each other, they're not paying their employees enough money, it's not a livable wage, and all of this stuff. What's really interesting is that Walmart itself is trying to raise all of their pay and trying to raise the minimum wage to about $15 an hour or so, like that. Why is that? Because they know their competition, small businesses in which they lose business to, they're not able to afford that. So systematically, they're trying to push out other companies, their competition, because they know that they can pay their employees, especially if their sales go up, because there is no other competition. Sure, they can pay their employees $15 an hour. Sure. That's not right. That's not okay. So let's go into a few other examples. People keep saying, "Oh, well, the workers will have the power. They'll be the ones that have the power, and they'll take over the businesses. They'll be the ones that decide. The people who are making the products, they'll be the ones." All right, let me ask you a question. Serious question. Have you ever worked anywhere before? Have you ever had idiots that work with you? There's a few of them, right? This is how this works. In this socialist society, everyone makes the same wage. So the idiot next to you who doesn't really do anything, they make the same amount of money as you do because, well, for one, it'd be unfair if just because you're better at your job, you get paid more. Yeah. And then remember this, the people who created it, that started these businesses, no longer will they have the power to say, hey, I believe that this is what the market's doing and this is the direction that it's going. The workers will do it. That idiot will have a say in the success of your job. It didn't work in the USSR. It doesn't work. here's some of the bad things about the USSR. There's no innovation. There's no innovation whatsoever. The factory equipment that they made, let's just use metal cutting equipment. Let's just say you have like lathes that will cut metal, and that's one of the products that they export, right? There was no innovation. The products that they would make, they made for 10, 20 years. I mean, they made over and over, and they just kept making those same products, and there were no innovation whatsoever. Why? Because no one would receive the benefit of using their idea. Remember that coworker that was an idiot and hardly ever does anything? We all have that one. He would receive the exact same benefit that you would, because that benefit is spread out through everyone. That is the Workers' Party. That is the concept of that. There was no reason for innovation because they never would receive a benefit from it. So those are some of the misconceptions that people do not see. For one, I'll kind of restate these things. The central bank in which the debt, this is a different economic system. This is a Keynesian economic system that is not inherent in capitalism. Capitalism in itself is free trade and the ability for capital to be used. So let's just go a little bit more in depth to that socialism, they don't have that. So once again, what did I say? The ability to use capital. What is capital? Capital is private property, okay? That's capital, money. That's their private property. They're able to use their money the way that they see fit. People say, oh, that's not right. They received the profit. Okay, let's. Have you ever heard the term no risk, no reward? Let's dig into that a little bit more, okay? Within 5 years, 95% of businesses, I think that's somewhere around the statistic. Most of you have heard that. 95% of businesses fail within 5 years. Remember this. Capital is private property. People take their money from wherever they got it and they spend it on an idea, on this business, okay? They've invested this money. So, they're the ones to benefit the most. That is the most risk. But when do they benefit? How are they able to benefit? Remember, the workers benefit first. What do they have to do? They have to, create the product. They have to hire people to make this product, right? So the workers receiving that paycheck, okay? Because they can't work without pay. I mean, there's a minimum wage. You cannot work in this country without being paid. So they have to pay their people. So who's benefiting first? People are putting food on their families' tables because they're receiving a wage from this capitalist. This is the owner, the owner of this, the one who created and started this business. They're receiving money first. So they have to have money to make this product, to market this product, to ship this product, and to pay you to make it. Okay? So who's receiving the benefit first? The worker is receiving the benefit first. Now, if they are successful, if they were right in hiring you as the right person and marketing in the right place, making a good product, protecting their product legally so that no one else can copy that product and pretty much take your job away from you, protecting your job, then they are to benefit. Are they normally the ones who benefit the most because they make the most money? Yeah. Why? Because they took the most risk. No risk, no reward. We've all heard that. They took the biggest risk that paid off immediately for you, and if they did a good job, it paid off for them. So remember, 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, okay? They took the biggest risk. You received benefit first for over that 5-year period, and then they received it if they were successful. Now, they might become successful in a year or two, but once again, you still benefited first. As the worker, in the Workers' Party, they would be taking. Now, once again, let's go back to your job. The people who you work with would take all control. So there goes private ownership, right? I mean, it is inherent that something has to be stolen from the person who created that company. There goes private ownership, because private ownership is not allowed in a socialist country because you cannot have more than another person. That's not fair. That's not part of that, okay? Because that's inherent, right? I mean, if it's the workers, they are the ones who own everything. They're the ones who control everything. That means they take ownership of everything, but there's no actual ownership because the state always gets the power. Always. Too many chiefs, too little Indians. That's normally how that works, and the state will take over that. You think the government's going to give you power? Let's be real. Name a time in which the Workers' Party the power never went to politicians. Name one. Very, very curious of that. So once again, we all have dummies that work with us, and they are going to be receiving the exact same pay, regardless of how long you've been there or how good you are at your job. So number one, there goes the innovation. I love innovation. You know why? Because that's saving lives now. Not just in your 4K television, but through cancer research, through pharmaceuticals. I mean, this kind of thing is a big deal that we want to keep going. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video, and just leave you with that. There are a lot of misconceptions. So when you hear an idea that people are blaming on capitalism, just remember, capitalism is a very, very simple thing. In capitalism is, once again, it is someone using their private property, which is capital, to create an idea and or a business. And they are almost always the last person to profit in doing it. It is for profit. Why? Because they want to receive a benefit. They're trying to, normally people are trying to remake the wheel, and they're trying to get something that no one else has, so they and everyone else that worked for them could benefit. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys comment on the bottom. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because it really does help the channel with trying to reach more and more people. So if you liked what you heard today, I seriously hope you can give us a like, and that way it helps out. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you guys soon.